Hi, I'm Lisa Magnuson, founder and CEO of Top Line Sales, and welcome to my 12-part series, Winning 5X Deals Repeatedly. And today's webinar is going to focus on why pre-call planning is no longer optional. So, prospect meetings are gold, and it's critical that we are able to maximize that interaction so that we can advance our sales cycle. But prospects are distracted, and it's challenging to advance with them right now and march down that sales process to a contract, especially if it's a 5X deal. So really, prospect distraction is our enemy right now. Therefore, we are going to dive into the one thing, the one insurance policy that guarantees you to improve the quality of your interaction, of that sales conversation with your prospect to improve your close ratios. All right, by the end of this very short, under 15-minute video, we are going to dive into pre-call planning in a very practical, hands-on way so that by the end of this session, you will be able to have the tools. Hint, I have a very exclusive offer for you. So you will have the tools and the wherewithal to start improving your sales call effectiveness right away. I'm also going to share another exclusive gift. So we've got a lot in store for you in a very short period of time. Every single one of the 12-part sessions that I have as part of my series, Winning 5X Deals Repeatedly, fits within what I call the Top Line Account Sales Success System. And I'm going to show you this. I know you can't read the writing on it, but this system has 4 parts, and inside of each of the 4 parts are plays. Actually, there's 16 plays in total. And each of the topics that we are going to tackle, including today's topics, falls within one of those plays. And those plays also are included in my latest book, The Top Sales Leader Playbook. And this book was written for sales VPs and savvy sales managers and enterprise salespeople who have the ability to identify, develop, and close 5X prospects repeatedly. So what is a 5X prospect? Well, a 5X prospect is a prospect that's worth about 5 times your average deal size. So if your average deal size is $100,000, a 5X prospect is a $500,000 prospect. And one of the exclusive offers that I want to share with you today is if you choose to invest in my book, you can save your Amazon receipt number, go up to my website, www.toplinesales.com, and you will get this in the form of a 4-page assessment. It's immediate download. And I use it with all my clients. It's really valuable to assess where you are and where you need to be to put the engine in place to drive these big deals repeatedly. Okay, so pre-call planning. Pre-call planning is, to me, the #1 habit that salespeople can commit to impact every aspect of their sales process and especially their close ratios. Statistics all point to 20% or better improvements in close ratios for those salespeople that make pre-call planning a habit. And with today's prospects being overwhelmed and distracted, like we talked about before, it's more important than ever. As a matter of fact, it's just no longer optional to really make sure that that meeting, because they are so hard to get, is as valuable as possible. So what do those prospects expect? They expect preparation like they've never expected it before, way beyond just checking their website and looking at LinkedIn. They also expect value. They expect salespeople to deliver value, and not just any value, but the right value at the right time based on what they're doing, thinking, and feeling as part of their buying journey. Then they expect a relentless focus on their priorities. And one of the other sessions, one of the other webinars that you can also view is on win themes. Win themes are the secret sauce associated with focusing on that prospect's priorities. But win themes also come into play when we're talking about pre-call planning. So pre-call planning, What is it and what isn't it? Well, a lot of times when I'm working with salespeople, I ask them, do you do pre-call planning for all your important prospect meetings, which is really every prospect meeting? And they always say yes. And what they mean by that is they have maybe done like a quick website check, quick LinkedIn check. They kind of know where they want to go in their head, and they may or may not jot something down. And that's not pre-call planning. At least that's not going to get it done for what prospects expect today. What prospects expect today is for not only you, for salespeople to do research, but to do research in a very purposeful way. When you do your research, you are not just looking for data about your prospect, about their company. Yes, you need to know that, but you're looking for questions. You're looking for points of alignment. You're looking for maybe some ideas that you can share with them, some insights. So you are doing very focused research. You're also really putting yourself in your prospect's shoes. So when you think about a meeting with a prospect, the first thing you're going to want to think about is where are they in their buyer's journey, and how does that correlate with your sales process? And that enables you to think about what they are doing, thinking, and feeling at this point. We know from many statistics, including recent Gartner CEB statistics that say the buying team is increasing. The buying team is overwhelmed. The buying team needs things to be simple, risk-free. So we have to put ourselves in our buyer's shoes for every meeting, because they're moving and you're moving, and you have to be moving with them in lockstep. So it starts out with a level set. Then you're going to really think about who's going to be in that meeting, and you're going to think about each of those participants strategically, where they are in terms of where they are in terms of your company and their disposition towards you and your company, where they are in terms of their support levels, their influence, where are they a stakeholder, a decision maker, an end user, who are the people that are going to be in the meeting. You're going to just kind of think about them. What are their personality? What's their persona, their personality type? Are they a direct? Do they want things really direct to the point? Are they relationship oriented? So you're going to spend a little more time on relationship building. So you're going to really think about those meeting attendees. Then you're going to think about their goals for the meeting. Not their goals in general, but what do they want to accomplish in this meeting? Why did they agree to meet with you? And what would make it a great meeting for them? What has to occur during this meeting so they have another meeting with you? And then when you think about their goals, then you're going to think about your own goals. And the big thing there is they have to be in alignment. Your goals have to be in alignment with their goals. And once you do that, then you're going to think about next steps. And next steps are not the same as your goals for the meeting. So next steps might be there's something that advances your sales process. And the best next steps are shared next steps. So agreeing to a next meeting is a shared next step. The prospect's committing to it, you're committing to it. Maybe it's to meet with the same group again and dive a little deeper. Maybe it's to expand the group. You're going to meet somebody new that's important, a stakeholder, a decision maker. Whatever that next step is, you want to think about what would be the best next step, and then what would be the next best. And in some cases, with very complex sales processes, I encourage my clients to also think about third next best. And what that does, having options, is you go into the meeting flexible. You do all this planning, and you can stay flexible. It was interesting. One of my clients just in the last couple of weeks, I was going into a finalist presentation, and they came back and said, well, our prospect really wants it to be casual, more like a discussion, so we probably don't really need to do any pre-call planning. And I said, well, I would sort of say the opposite. We need to do a lot of pre-call planning so that it can come off very casual, and you can be really flexible, and yet get to the next step as part of that interaction. So you're going to think about multiple next steps. Then if you are sort of in a later stage of the sales process, maybe you're in qualify or develop, You're also going to start thinking about those client priorities, why they're important, what strengths that you have that are going to match evidence. I call those win themes. We have a whole webinar on win themes, as I said, that you can look at as well. But you're going to think about those. If it's a first prospect call, you don't know those things. Those then become questions. And that's the next piece of the pre-call plan, is developing your sales questions. And here's where we need to think about the value that we can add for our prospect. We can easily, as salespeople, come up with a list of questions that we want to know. Who's the decision maker? Do you have budget? What are your needs? What are your pain points? Those questions are all helpful to us, and we need to know those. But can we come up with questions that are also valuable for our prospect? Maybe questions that would be valuable to them are questions that cause them to think differently, introduce new information, cause them to kind of analyze this or that. We interject kind of some resources that maybe they hadn't considered before. So there's all kinds of ways that we can ask questions that are really valuable for our prospects. And we can't do that generally on the spot. So the pre-call planning enables us to come up with some good questions that, yes, might be helpful to us, but also could be really valuable to the prospect, that they will appreciate, insightful questions. So we're going to come up with those. And then we're going to think about the meeting and what could go wrong and what could we do to get in front of that. And one of the things that we can do that solves a lot of what can go wrong in a meeting is have a really good agenda. Share that agenda in advance with our prospect or client. Ask them if they have any input. That solves a lot of problems. People getting off track, people not knowing what to expect. Maybe you have a key person in the meeting that tends to kind of show up sometimes, not show up other times. If you have an agenda and they have a role on that agenda, they're going to be there. So just that simple thing of the agenda and sending it in advance and asking for input and buy-in really helps a lot. But there's other things that you can do when you think through what could go wrong and what you need to do. And then once you've done all of that analysis and thinking and planning and crafting, then you put together your custom agenda. And the agenda is based 100% on your prospect, their goals for the meeting, where they are, what they're doing, thinking, and feeling right now in their buying process, how you can have value, their priorities, their pain points, their needs, all of that. The agenda is 100% focused on them. And when you do all that as part of your pre-call planning, every time for every prospect call and every client call, you then are going to get the impact of a 20% or more bump in your effectiveness and your close ratios. Your prospects are going to advance with you, and they're going to do so happily. And also their perception of you and your company is going to just skyrocket. They're going to say things like, wow, you're so organized, or I really appreciate all your preparation, or you know what, it's really, this conversation is not what I expected. It's really been valuable. They're going to say things to you like that. And you're going to avoid those terrible stalls and stops that all of us have experienced in a sales process. And sometimes you can recover from those, and sometimes you can't. Literally, pre-call planning, which is 100% in your control, we control whether we do it or not, is an insurance policy. It's your only insurance policy where you control. It's your insurance policy to improve the effectiveness of that customer prospect conversation and interaction. So I mentioned that I also have a tool for you. If you go to my website, which is toplinesales.com, www.toplinesales.com, you can go to the resources page. I think it's at the bottom of the resources page, and you can download my 2-page pre-call planning tool. I don't think there's been a week in 16 years that I've been in business that I have not gone through pre-call planning with one of my clients. I use the very tool that you can download for free. Yes, you have to give some information, and yes, that will sign you up for my newsletter, which I hope that you enjoy because it comes out once a month and it's also valuable. But you can get that pre-call planning tool for free right now. And if you just use that tool, it's kind of rock solid and is simple to use, simple to understand. You can start experiencing the benefits that we talked about right now. And what's going to happen is you are going to ring the bell much more frequently with 5x wins, not just once or twice, but repeatedly. And you know that those are game changers for your commissions, for your reputation inside of your organization, for expanding with those customers that you just got, those big customers. So thank you for participating in this webinar today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, if you choose to invest in my book, the Top Sales Leader Playbook, save your Amazon receipt number, and get that top line account-way success system in the form of an assessment. You'll get that right away. Also, if you go to my website, www.toplinesales.com, you can get that free pre-call planning tool. It's such an awesome tool. And lastly, you can see all of my webinars on the Bright Talk channel. I've been a sales expert on the Bright Talk channel for 4 years. So much content there. Myself and 70 other sales experts on all different kinds of sales topics. So that is a great resource, the Bright Talk channel, Sales Experts channel. And lastly, if you're a sales VP and you have a team that can identify, develop, and close 5X deals, and you're somewhere in the company range of 20 million to 300 million. That's kind of my sweet spot. And you need some help, whether it's war room work or tools or training or just any help that you need. Contact me, and we can devise a custom program for you, so I can help your team as well. Thank you so much, and we'll see you at the next webinar.